No country believes in freedom quite like America. American history is a vivid tapestry of near-continuous wars with would-be oppressors. When the Pilgrims left England for the New World in 1620, they did so seeking freedom of religion. When the American patriots won their independence, they did so because they were tired of unreasonable taxation without being given fair representation. The United States rallied troops to fight in the Civil War to bring about a new birth of freedom. World War II for the four freedoms, and the Cold War to defend the free world. The Declaration of Independence lists liberty as one of mankind's inalienable rights, and the Constitution declares securing liberty's blessing as its purpose. America truly is the land of the free.
I believe that God wants everybody to be free. That's what I believe. And that's part of my foreign policy.
The majority of modern law and democracy is built on the assumption that we are sovereign individuals, capable of making choices for ourselves. Because of this, we punish those that commit crime and have electoral systems in which each person is designated a single fair vote. But is this assumption, the assumption that we are capable of our own decisions, actually valid? Do our decisions belong to us? Claude Voyelon was born in France on the 30th of September 1946 to a Jewish father and a Catholic mother. He was raised by his grandmother until the age of 15, when he ran away from boarding school and hitchhiked to Paris, where he began busking on the streets. Showing promise, he was scouted for young talent and signed a record contract. He took a new identity and released several singles, but his career in music was brought to an abrupt end when his sponsor committed suicide in September of 1970. Voyelon had always been passionate about car racing, so he decided on a new career path and started his own sports car magazine entitled Autopop. This was going well, but everything changed on the 13th of December 1973 when he met an alien.
Let's have a welcome, please, for Claude Rael. This story is... You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, they met you on the side of the road.
Yes, it was. I was going to my office, like you said before, and I didn't know that was the day. This day will change my life.
And just like that, Raelism was born. Raelism is a religious movement that was founded by Voyelon, who now calls himself Rael, which means messenger of those who came from the sky. It teaches that all life on Earth was scientifically created by a group of technologically advanced humans from another planet. Following his first encounter, which took place in a volcano, Rael claimed to have several more, and was even given the opportunity to visit their home planet. Raelism garnered international media attention in 2002, when another organisation Rael had set up claimed to have successfully cloned an American woman. It was at this point that some media outlets began looking further into Raelism's cult status.
Cult. A relatively small group of people having beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister, or as exercising excessive control over members.
That's what the Oxford English Dictionary has to say about cults. Cults are everywhere, and they affect more of us than you'd think. According to leaked internal emails from November 2010, Raelism has nearly 17,000 members. 17,000 people is a lot of members, but some cults have millions. Both the Unification Church and the Church of Scientology have been accused of brainwashing their members and are incredibly secretive about their inner workings. Scientology even has a history of harassing and following journalists trying to dig into its affairs. A lot of former members speak of the church's abuse of power and how they were cut off from their families when they left. So why do people get into cults? In 1951, Solomon Asch conducted one of the first experiments into the effects of conformity on decision-making. Asch took groups of 8 people and presented them with a piece of card. On the left of the card, there was a single line, and on the right, there were 3 lines, each of distinct length, with one of them matching the length of the line on the left. He then asked the group which line on the right matched the length of the one on the left. An easy task, with less than a 1% error rate for control groups. But in the group of 8 people, only one was an actual participant in the study. Unknown to him, the other 7 were all Confederates, pretending to be participants. These Confederates gave incorrect answers 2/3 of the time, and Asch found that 75% of participants conformed at least once, meaning that they denied the evidence presented to them by their own eyes in favour of the opinions of complete strangers. In interviews following the experiment, participants cited various reasons for their conformity, ranging from things like self-doubt to a lack of confidence, or even just the desire to be normative. We have evolved to enjoy social interaction, and because of this we conform to groups in ways far beyond what we expect. Our behaviour is defined not only by our personality, but also by the environment we are in. We look at cult members and attribute their behaviour to an error in their character. We assume that cults must just consist of a handful of kooky individuals with a few screws loose, but only 5 to 6% of cult members exhibit major psychological issues before they join, making the rest essentially normal. It follows that there are 2 psychological biases here. Humans are predisposed to join cults, and outsiders are too critical of the personality of cult members, when they should be instead looking at their environment. People are not in cults because they are weird, but because they are the victim of several twists of human psychology. Anyone put in the right circumstances could join a cult. That includes you and me. So far, all the cults we've looked at just seem to have some quite weird views. But what happens when people believe something so strongly that they would die for it, or kill for it? This is something we'll look at in part 2.